like I say, I've grown up in this business, been doing it for 35 years, pretty much on my own. And it blows your mind the difference it's took between now and then.
I come from a long line of farmers. I can trace my family back farming before the Revolutionary War.
I'm living within 2 miles of where I was born.
We're in Gaines County, Texas. Gaines County is, or has been for several years, the largest cotton producer in the state of Texas.
I do about 1,600 acres and 2 people full-time on it.
In cotton, we have about 2,300 acres of cotton this year.
We farm around 1,200 dryland acres and around 440 acres of subsurface irrigation drip.
We farm total about 3,000 acres, and about 2,000 of that's cotton.
My family farms, our operation encompasses about 6,000 acres.
I pencil everything out, well, actually beginning in November and December.
We used to plant by the pound, and now we plant by the seed.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
we used to
25
plant
pounds an acre was what you planted. Now, we've technology. We have cotton this year. We plant 2 seed to the foot, which equals about 6 pounds to the acre.
Yield, price-wise, money-wise, is up my bottom line quite a bit.
You have to use the technology that's out there, and we're having less water and doing more with what we have.
The FiberMax varieties and their quality and the staple length and the way they grow have made it in West Texas where we have the ability to we've enhanced our yields quite a bit. Our quality is tremendously increased. We have quite a few acres of drip irrigation that we've invested in, and we have to pick those varieties according to what produces better, according to available water supply along with average rainfall.
The latest technology that we're using on the farm is our AutoTrack GPS. Everything that we do in our rows within 1 inch of accuracy. The important part to me on that is being able to follow up every year on our subsurface drip and being able to inject our fertilizers through the tape.
The benchmark yield is 3 bales to the acre, and as recent as say 10 years ago, 1.5 bales was a good average yield. We've made in excess of 3, we've made in excess of 4 bales per acre since subsurface drip and some of the new seed technologies have come out. One of the things that has made a major factor that's gone hand in hand with subsurface drip irrigation has been FiberMax seed on the high plains. And the combination of the new seed technologies and the farmers willing to embrace other technologies have made a huge difference.
And now that our water is declining a little bit, you can take less water and grow more crop because of technology.
Best thing that we'd have is the technology allowing us to fertilize through the tape, being able to run our nitrogen through the tape, being able to run some phosphorus through the tape, and being able to inject those chemicals safely.
The benefits for the environment, not only here, but once again, I feel like we're having a world impact with what we're doing, have been tremendous. We simply do not spray pesticides in this field. We simply don't. And years ago we did. It was a requirement.
Technology, like I say, the circle systems, the genetically produced cotton, like FiberMax is put out. That's the only reason we can stay to me.
I used to run 2 8-row harvesters, cotton strippers. I ran 3 bull buggies, 3 module builders. All of those had tractors that were running them. So I had 10 vehicles out there burning 8 to 12 gallons of fuel per hour. Now I've replaced that with one machine that burns on average 22 gallons an hour. And so our consumption of fossil fuels and fossil fuels are also a main ingredient in a lot of chemicals and herbicides and pesticides. That use has gone way down.
I make about half or less the number of passes through this field that I used to make. My greenhouse gas emissions have been cut at least in half. The primary pest we fought in the past was a bollworm on the high plains. In conjunction with that was a beet armyworm, fall armyworm, which would just require unbelievable amounts of pesticides if they moved into your field. They're implementing in a naturally occurring enzyme. It wasn't naturally occurring in cotton, but the BT technology, the plant creates an enzyme that's resistant to certain pests. But they've been able to do that and improve our insect control with a positive effect on the environment. With the technology, once the insects begin to eat on the plant, they simply can't feed off of it. And that keeps us out of the field with the pesticides, and it also improves our yield because we're not giving up any of the yield to pests.
We had a big tree behind our house, and I'd have my little tractors out there, you know, and I'd plant beans and macaroni, you know. But that's what I've always wanted to do. I mean, the smell of the wet dirt. I mean, early in the mornings, late in the evenings, you know, just the smell of the crops, and it just gets in you. And I love it.
I'm a family type person where family's real important to me. I like the family type business.
I personally just fell in love with the farm as a kid, followed my dad around.
I grew up in a cotton family, grew up around it forever.
A lot of times I'd have 30 people out there in the field.
Wow.
Oh,
30 to 60 on the crew.
oh yeah, I have one man.
How many acres again, can you remind me?
Well, we farmed altogether
Yeah.
about 3,000 acres.
We have 2 full-time employees that have worked for me for about, I guess, 19 years.
But because of the fact that technology and equipment have advanced so much, we don't need the amount of workforce that we needed at one time.
If they had to pay what peanuts or cotton or anything, what it would take to actually grow it, a shirt, any shirt would be $100.
1/2 of 1% of the federal budget goes to farm programs. So 1/2 of 1% of the income tax dollars that every person pays goes to ensure that their food and fiber costs them on average 11% of their net income. Across the world, most consumers spend 30 to 40 to 50% of their disposable income on food and clothing. China, Europe have very high rate of subsidy compared to us. They even subsidize inputs, electricity costs, financing. We don't have anything like that here.
No one wants to be dependent on the government, especially as independent as the American farmer is and as willing as he is to do the things that he's done.
Our whole goal is to bring more money back to growers and be a transparent process from start to finish. That's one of the things that FiberMax does also. They have a totally transparent process where you can trace the seed. When I sell cotton to a mill, I can tell them where that cotton was grown, who grew it, what county, what gin, everything, what variety of FiberMax it was.
When you go to a certified FiberMax program and you know that that was a bale of certified FiberMax cotton that was taken from an American farm, gone through an American gin, processed to an American gin and carried to a warehouse, that bale can be bought with confidence that that's what you're getting. If you're buying cotton from a third world nation or another nation that doesn't have that transparency, you don't know what you're getting. And it's the same way, I like to equate it to a used car. Do you want to buy a certified used car from General Motors or Ford, or do you want to just buy that clunker over there that they say, oh, it's good, just take it, you know? And, or do you want the one you know has been gone through and is fine and has been checked? When you buy a bale of certified FiberMax cotton, you know what you're getting and you know the quality, and you should be willing to pay a premium for it because of the spinning aspects that it has as a meal. And if you can make your whole lay down relative and use the technology that Cotton Incorporated and Texas Tech University and some others have come up with, you can lay a bale lay down for your meal and know that you won't have to change anything through that setting. And I would think that'd be a great value to a meal or a foreign buyer.
It's going to have to create a demand that's not just a fad, that people really want the product, people really want that, and the only way that I think you're going to get that is that the quality has to be there, so that it is not just something that looks good or whatever. People are going to have to know that it's a good product, that it's good quality, it's comfortable, And I know that if my son were in it, if Eli were in it, that we would be doing the same thing because that does mean something.
They're not just little 80-acre patches anymore. You're growing 6,000 acres. That's a lot of money. I mean, you're spending a couple $1 million a year. You just hope you get back.
There's 1 out of 10 farmers that's farmed in 1980. 1 out of 10.
If the production is there, the yield is there, and it's going into the loan hire, I mean, it still goes back to the bottom dollar and making the profit. Because in these times, you've got to get, a cent makes a huge difference.
But 30 years ago when I started farming, I'd borrow $30,000 to farm and live and everything, and make a living at it. Today, if you don't borrow $700,000-800,000 through the year, and cotton's bringing the same price. So that tells you how much more efficient we've had to be.
We're farming what 27 families did when I was 10 or 12 years old.
If anytime that you can do anything more efficient, you're going to save money, and it goes back to that 1 cent that I was talking about. If you can save money up front in the whole process, then you're going to be saving more money down the road.
We've had to step up every year, and I just don't know how far more we can step and still make it. It's getting tougher. That margin's getting closer and closer. The only way we've made it is production. The only way we've stayed in business is production.
So I can trace my family back farming before the Revolutionary War.
I do about 1,600 acres and 2 people full-time on it.
We used to plant by the pound, and now we plant by the seed.
We've enhanced our yields quite a bit. Our quality is tremendously increased.
We've made in excess of 4 bales per acre since subsurface drip and some of the new seed technologies have come out.
You can take less water and grow more crop because of technology.
We simply do not spray pesticides in this field.
And so our consumption of fossil fuels and fossil fuels are also a main ingredient in a lot of chemicals and herbicides and pesticides. That use has gone way down.
My greenhouse gas emissions have been cut at least in half.
1/2 of 1% of the federal budget goes to farm programs.
Our whole goal is to bring more money back to growers and be a transparent process.
There's 1 out of 10 farmers that's farmed in 1980.